नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामनि गौरात्वेषे नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा। जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा। जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा। जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा। जय गो प्रेमानंदे। बलराम देश श्री राधा बलराम बहरिणीश्वर श्री कृष्ण बलराम गौर निताय श्री नरसिंहदेव भगवान प्रहलाद महाराज शिल प्रभुपाद जय पिता गोस्वामी महाराज और आचार्य वृंद और वैष्णव के चरण कमलों में प्रणाम करके बलराम देश यात्रा के प्रथम दिन में आज भगवान श्री गौर हरि कल अक्षय तृतीया थी और जो कार्य अक्षय तृतीया में किया जाता है वो अखंड होता है, सदा रहता है, नित्य रहता है। इज इन हिंदी? नो, इज ओके ओके। सो the Akshaya Tritiya, Akshaya means inexhaustible, eternal, never destroyed. So today we are starting the Krishna's Kaviraj Maharaj's wonderful, sweet Chaitanya Charitamrita. Once Srila Prabhupada came out in Calcutta, and outside there were so many people having different shops, and there was one shop with Bengali sweets, rasgulla, sandesh, and so many things. And they asked Prabhupada, accept some Bengali sweet. Prabhupada said, I know only one Bengali sweet. एक ही बंगाली स्वीट मैं जानता हूं। Oh, this is संदेश, रसगुल्ला. This is Bengali sweet? No. Prabhupada said, Ek. Kaun sa? Chaitanya Charitamrita. The sweet Bengali is only Chaitanya Charitamrita. That is the Bengali sweet. So we are starting our Bal Bhog. This is called Bal Bhog, early in the morning offering to the Lord with best Bengali sweet, Chaitanya Charitamrita. And the Eid is also, this is the Eid is sweet Eid, no? The Eid is Sevaiyon ki Eid, Mithai Khana, Halwa Eid. So this is the real sweet. We are starting Chaitanya Charitamrita. The principle we have joined Krishna consciousness movement to awaken our love of God. Krishna Prem. भाई हम भक्ति में क्यों आए हैं? कृष्ण प्रेम को क्या करना है? जगाने के लिए. Krishna Prem is already there. It needs to be awakened. And most easiest and the only process to get Krishna Prem is by the mercy of Sri Gaura Hari. Really speaking, in truth, people may be worshipping Krishna, that's very nice, a very exalted worship, बहुत ऊपर का पूजा है. परंतु Krishna Prem of Golok, Vrindavan, is not available except the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu की कृपा के बिना कृष्ण प्रेम नहीं मिलेगा. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give Krishna Prem. किसको कृष्ण प्रेम देने के लिए आए Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? I mean, mostly we Chaitanya Mahaprabhu के pastime, you think of the pastime. As a preaching tour, he preached 4 years in South India only. Mostly he was in South India. In Golok, there is a portion South India. Yes. In Nectar of Devotion, it is written Golok has 2 portions. One is Golok Vrindavan Krishna pastime, one is Gaur Hari pastime. And the Gaur Hari pastime has a Nadia and South India. So there is a great hope for all, most of you from South India. Golok में एक जगह है. No, I'm telling it true. It's written in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And I read it and I heard Giriraj Swami Maharaj speaking on Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu that there is a portion in Golok because Mahaprabhu, wherever Mahaprabhu went, that place is there. So, अच्छा, I mean, this Krishna is all inclusive in one sense. He has not left anything. He has Nadia bhi hai, Bengal bhi hai, Vrindavan bhi hai, so everything is included. So most of the preaching of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was to learned scholars in Vedic philosophy. He was preaching to the common people on the street and to the topmost philosophers. So Prabhupada has the same mood actually, that he wanted to have a preaching by a bullock cart to the villagers and a BI to the highest intellectual scientist. So same, Prabhupada has exactly, he imbibed the mood of the Acharyas and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Chaitanya Mano Abhishtam. So the both level of preaching, highest preaching, Prabhupada used to meet the Prime Minister. His goal was, he started his preaching by preaching to Lal Bahadur Shastri in India, giving his Bhagavatam. And then in America, he was writing the letter to the President of America, that I want to get appointment and meet with you. So he has a highest goal to, and then he was preaching to the common people in the street. So Mahaprabhu's main preaching mission was to the highest scholars. If the one scholar is actually convinced about Krishna consciousness, then he is an asset. So South India is actually a more philosophical oriented Vedantist, belt. And Mahaprabhu actually wanted to give Krishna Prem to them. On the way, he was giving Krishna Prem to everybody. Sabko Krishna Prem there is, but he has like the chapter which we are going to start is, this is his first preaching mission, in fact. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas at the age of 24. 24 साल की उम्र में संन्यास ले ली. चैतन्य चरितमृत has 3 portions. आप सब जानते हैं 3 कौन से हैं? What are the 3? Adi, Madhya and Antya. So, a classification कैसे? How to classify this? Up till sannyas is Adi. And 6 years preaching is Madhya. And the last 18 years in Jagannath Puri is Ante. This is the classification. So actually Madhya is more, see, Madhya is a preaching. Ante is a relishment of Krishna Prem in Jagannath Puri by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself with his only close associates, not with the public. But these Madhya Leela is a most part of preaching spirit, how to preach actually. So after taking sannyas, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, where he wanted to go? Vrindavan. Why? He was in Radharani's mood and he wanted to go to the Vrindavan. But he was tricked by Nityananda Prabhu. मालूम है? He took sannyas at Katwa. Then he was accompanying with Nityananda Prabhu and Mukunda Datta. And as Mukunda, there's 4 people, he said, I'm going to Vrindavan now. So what Nityananda did is, some cowherd boys local near the bank of Ganga, they said, you go in front of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he will ask what is this place and you tell this is Vrindavan. Because the guy have cowherd boys hai, river hai. So yes, this is Vrindavan. Mahaprabhu was in ecstasy. He was walking, but that is Vrindavan aa gaya. So he jumped into the river, Ganga, for taking bath. And Nityananda immediately sent somebody to Advaita Acharya that Mahaprabhu will come out. You should have a dry dress for him to dress. So Mahaprabhu bahar nikla to Advaita Acharya said, Acharya, how you came to Vrindavan? How you came to Vrindavan? And the Advaita Acharya gave a wonderful answer. Say, wherever you are there, that place is a Vrindavan. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu jahan hai, wahi Vrindavan hai. Mora ban Vrindavan. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Mora ban Vrindavan. Dusron ke, somebody else must have something other Vrindavan, but mere liye, so wherever you are, there is Vrindavan. And then he brought it to the Advaita house of Advaita Acharya. What is that place called? Shantipur. Oh, Mahaprabhu said, this Nityananda has tricked me. He mere se chal kiya. He has tricked me. But that place is called Tri Prabhu Betak. This Shantipur is a place called Tri Prabhu Betak. Because this is the place where Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Acharya and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were at one time together. And this is the place our Srila Prabhupada used to visit every month from Calcutta. He used to go every month. And when he was Grasta, I was sitting there for hours and hours and hours. And then evening used to come back to Kolkata. After taking sannyas in Vrindavan, Prabhupada embarked from Kolkata to the west, but before embarking he went to the Shantipur in a sannyasi dress. He was sitting there and crying and chanting and crying. So ultimately Pujari recognized him that he's the same person who used to come every month. Pehle har mahine aaya karta tha. And after a long time he has come, but he's in a different sannyas dress. So he approached Prabhupada. He said, I'm humbly asking you, I don't want to disturb your bhajan. Aap apni seva kijiye. Are you the same person who used to come earlier in a white dress here? He said, yes. My spiritual master has given me order to preach in a Western world, and I have no any qualification or facility to do that and power to do it, but I have come to take mercy of the three Prabhus that I can fulfill their desire. So Pujari remembered that. Then Prabhupada left. After a couple of years in Shantipur, one Western devotee in a tilak and sikha with back to guarded magazine went to Shantipur. And this Pujari, he was surprised. First time he saw the Western person in a devotion. He was not able to speak. And the Englishman was not also speaking his. So he took the back to guarded backside and said, Prabhupada, this. He said this. He understood, and then he was crying. Pujari was actually in tears. He said, this person was crying here to fulfill the mission of spiritual master, and now, today I see the result. So this is place, what I'm saying, Shantipur is a place of exhausted mercy of three Prabhus at a time. So this is the one place where Prabhupada was empowered actually in one way to preach. And the other is Rupa Goswami's Samadhi in a Radha Damodar. And similarly, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada in a Yoga Peeth, which he established the temple, he was doing Niranjan Bhajan, called Nirjan Bhajan. Nirjan Bhajan was not going anywhere, only eating something, khichdi, and just chanting, nothing else. So Gaur Kishoredas Babaji Maharaj used to say, मेरे प्रभु में रूप रघुनाथ का वैराग आ गया है. His spiritual master Gaur Kishoredas Babaji used to say, मेरे प्रभु में, means in Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, रूप रघुनाथ का वैराग आ गया है. So he is detached like Rupa and Raghunath. So Rupa, Raghunath, Rupa Sanatan, they are so detached, they were so exalted and to be detached when you have nothing, there is nothing, it's not something special. पहले ही कुछ नहीं था, अभी कुछ नहीं खा रहा है तो क्या बात है? It's not something. But they were the exalted in a position, minister position in the government. They have golden coin full of boats as their asset and property. They left everything and they were living in Vrindavan. So this is the one portion of teaching of Lord Chaitanya to Rupa Goswami. It is written, anybody who was going from Odisha or Bengal to Vrindavan, they used to ask, how are the Rupa Sanatan doing there? And they saying, oh, they are living under one tree not more than 1 day or 2 days. They are absorbed in writing books and chanting holy name and excavating the places of pastime. They are hardly eating dry chapatis soaked in a Jamuna water or sometimes some chickpeas. Kabhi chana chabaye, kabhi सूखी roti Jamuna mein dubaye. That's what they were eating. Actually, their principle was like that. On every Dwadasi, next day of Ekadashi, they used to walk from Vrindavan to Mathura. And from the Brahmans, Chaturvedis, they used to get some madhukari. And then they used to keep that madhukari, say somewhere, not in refrigerator, nothing, but in some sand near the Jamuna, and they used to get this roti and soak it every day in Jamuna water and eat. That's nothing. It's not every day going for madhukari. Generally speaking, they were doing like that. So कभी सूखी रोटी पानी में डुबा के खाते हैं, कभी चने चबाते हैं, कभी वो भी नहीं. And then hardly sleeping 2 hours a day, and sometimes that's not there. So many years back, sometime I was reading this pastime, and then I was speaking. सूखी रोटी और चने चबा के भक्ति रसामृत सिंधु लिख दिया, और यहाँ पनीर सब्जी खा के पढ़ना मुश्किल है. This is my realization. No, it's right. I think 2 books really too difficult to understand is Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu and Teaching of Lord Chaitanya, because it's summary study. So it's very difficult really to get a link if you, because software which Srila Prabhupada has put in the ISKCON is you have a verse and then you have a translation, and then we have that software. So we want to relate something and there is nothing there. So it's very difficult really to understand. And we are teaching this, so we go by verse and then we see how Prabhupada has put what thing where. Then really you understand what is actually there. मैं समझता हूँ most of, even in Bhakti Shastri, we only first 19th chapter of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu are taught, or three sections are there. कभी पढ़ा है किसी ने? पढ़ा भी है तो समझा है क्या कुछ? This time we have almost more than 6 months session on these 3 other portions. We are doing only the northern side, then southern, eastern, western. I think we did all this as a seminar. Urmila Mataji was giving the seminar. So it took almost more than 6 months, but most of the students, are mostly teachers, are the Bhakti Vaibhava students. But when we have a discussion, this is not easy really to understand, because we are not at that stage. वो भाव के स्टेज की बातें हैं, हम भाव में तो है नहीं. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to the Shantipur. And what is the purpose? Shantipur जाने का. Why Nityanand took this? Because before Mahaprabhu leave as a sannyasi, he wanted all the Gauda Desha Bhakta Vranda to have a darshan of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and particularly Sachi Mata. This was the aim. So all the devotees, when they heard that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in Shantipur, they came there and Sachi Mata came there. So Mahaprabhu said, well, I am mad, what can I do, Mataji? I should not have left you, you are alone. I know you are widow, one son has already left. What can I do? If you ask me, whatever you ask, I will do. Sachi Mata said, anyway, you have taken the vow of sannyas, I don't want to really disturb that. But I have one request, don't go to Vrindavan. Go to Jagannath Puri. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after sannyas, instead of going to Vrindavan, he selected Jagannath Puri as his pastime place, on the request of Mother Sachi. Mother Sachi said, well, Jagannath Puri and Navadvip are like the 2 rooms of a same house. Because every year people from here go to Jagannath Rath Yatra, and people from there come for Ganga Sagar. So most of the time this is like every year there's a meeting, so I can know about your whereabout. Anyway, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is always at 4 places. What are the 4 places Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is always? Navadeep. It's called Nityananda Kirtan. Where Nityananda is doing Kirtan, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is there. Srivasa Angan. Because Srivasa Angan is still, you go and have a little vibration there are different than any other place. Because Mahaprabhu has done a overnight Kirtan every day for one full year. They were relishing actually themselves the Krishna prem among devotees. कौन सी दो जो जगह बताई? What two places I said? Nityananda Kirtana, Srivasa Angana, Sachira Randhana. Sachira Randhana means the kitchen of Sachi Mata. Every day Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is there to honor Prasad, Bhog, and Sachi, whatever Sachi Mata is cooking. And fourth is called Raghavendra Jalan. Raghavendra at Panihati, there is a place of Raghavendra Thakur. You have visited Panihati, most of you? No? एक सरोज गई और okay, Calcutta, Mayapur तो जाते हो ना, you go Mayapur, so just take one day at least for Calcutta. What in Calcutta is, now Prabhupada's birthplace is there. Then that temple Prabhupada used to go, the day, this is a Malik family's temple, where Prabhupada used to visit in the childhood. And one Rath Yatra, sometimes Rath Yatra used to start from there in olden days. And then the Ulta Danga, where Srila Prabhupada met Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, that place also ISKCON has acquired now. This is an ISKCON place. Well, last time I went, only first floor was there. Some people were occupying the upper house, but now everything is in ISKCON. And these are some places connected with Srila Prabhupada. Then of course the Gauriya Mutt of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, where his chair he was sitting, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati himself when he was sitting there, from where he started preaching, that place is there also. And then even from Calcutta airport, it is near airport, you just go outskirt of the Calcutta, there is a Panihati. You have a Ganga Snan there, and then that one tree under which Nityananda Prabhu sat and had Raghunath Das Goswami, this Dahichira festival, or Dand Mahotsav, that is the place right there. And there's a nice ghat there to take bath. And then from there Nityananda went to the Raghavendra's house, because he was there supposed to take prasad there. So then the Raghavendra's house is there. And Damayanti, I think name is Damayanti, Raghavendra's sister, she used to make dry preparation for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in small bags. And then she used to put in a big bag. And every year Raghavendra used to take these all small dry preparation made by the Raghavendra's sister for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to take for full year something from that. So that is called Raghavendra Jholan. Jholan means jhola. Jhola means the bag. And from here, what I'm saying, these are the places which are in Calcutta. Nityananda Wadi. Next, just go to, there's a Nityananda Wadi. Nityananda Wadi in Bengali means the place where Nityananda Prabhu used to live with Jahanwa Mataji. And where Veer Bhadra was born. So there is a place, Nityananda Wadi right there. And next to there is a place, one Bhagavad Acharya who was reciting Bhagavad, and even Mahaprabhu was hearing something. I forgot name, many years back I went there. But on the top there is a museum where all the Goswamis use things and written books and even their japa beads and most of the things are there. So this is the sometime, going to Mayapur, this is the Calcutta, spend a day or two in Calcutta and have darshan of all these wonderful pastime places of Srila Prabhupada and this particular Nityananda. I said, Nityananda is like a acharya. It's called acharya, or say guru principle. For entering into the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, getting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy for Krishna Prem, we have to go through Nityananda. We have to go through Nityananda. That's the principle. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when Panihati, Raghunath Das came, somebody told Nityananda, Maharaj, Raghunath came, hey, ye chor, bring it here. Bring him here. Chor hai. Raghunath is chor? Huh? Yes, he is chor, thief. What is? He is stealing Krishna Prem from Mahaprabhu without my permission. He is approaching Mahaprabhu without my permission. He has to go through me. This is the principle. So, pehla principle kya bataya? If we want to awaken Krishna Prem, only Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy we can do. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy is only available by Nityananda Kripa. So Nityananda is the Acharya principle. We have to always get his mercy really to be successful. So, because Sachi Mata requested Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to stay to Jagannath Puri, so Mahaprabhu started for Jagannath Puri. And he has only, I think 4 persons were going together. Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, Mukunda, and one more. We'll see exactly, find out who are the 4 persons traveling, walking with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from Shantipur to Jagannath Puri. Anybody remember? No, Sarup Damodar came late. Mukunda is there, and Nityananda is there, and one more. I remember, but I forgot now. Name we can find out. So, then they came to the Ramana, and then there is one full chapter about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is speaking about glories of Madhavendra Puri to Nityananda Prabhu at Ramana, Khirchor Gopinath. Then that chapter comes. So what we are tracing is, we are tracing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's sannyas from Katwa through Shantipur. I mean, just briefly, and going to the Ramuna. And after Ramuna, Nityananda broke the Dandabhang place in Odisha. And then they reached to the Athara Nala. You know, Athara Nala word. Athara means 18. And Nala means actually a sort of a river, and there is a bridge, and then under that there are 18 like arches. That's called Athara Nala. And from Athara Nala, which is like the outskirts of Jagannath Puri. And from there you can see the chakra of Jagannath temple. So this is those who are coming from the Bengal side to Odisha. Athara Nala was the place from where they used to pay obeisance to the Jagannath chakra. So Athara Nala, अभी भी 18 नाला देखा कभी जगन्नाथपुर जाके दूर से 18 नाला 18 नाला, it's still the word written is 18 nala, from where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ran alone, and he left 3 behind. That is also very interesting. Ultimately everybody has to go to Krishna alone. Nobody can accompany you. Yeah, this is actually message. I mean, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Radharani's mood, and he was going to see Krishna in the form of Jagannath. There is also why Mahaprabhu stayed at Jagannath Puri. And this was explained. It was explained by Srila Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj right on the day when he departed in Mayapur. He was speaking this pastime. Why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed at Jagannath Puri. And he was speaking that pastime on that day particularly, and then he departed to Nitya Leela. So maybe one of the day we can just see the glimpse of that. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu alone ran from there to have a darshan of Jagannath. The three were left behind, they were coming. They must have some small luggage, not much, but at least some luggage. Their water pot, at least one set of cloth, something. So they were just coming behind, and Mahaprabhu ran all the way to Jagannath Puri. And really, it's a very specific principle you have to learn. Everybody have to fly on his own. And Krishna Prem, हर एक को अपनी तरफ से जाना पड़ेगा. कोई, we need association, we need their help, but ultimately everybody has to go alone. Now Mahaprabhu, when he entered into Jagannath temple, his mood was to embrace Lord Jagannath. But he was so much in ecstasy that he fell down unconscious before even entering the Garbhagriha where Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra, Sudarshan Chakra, and how many deities are on the altar at Jagannath Puri? 4 are seen, there are 7. You ask from there, they will tell you. There are 7. They say there are 7. The 2 more are there. I don't know, Shri Devi, Bhudevi, I don't know, something more is there. You ask, is our pranam is there, no? Jagannath Prem? No? Huh? No? Online? Anyway, now online has become so popular and so easy. But once I was giving class on Bhagavad Gita in Prabhupada house in the evening. There were 4 or 5 devotees, usually it is. But I came out and 2 devotees told me, well, this was a very nice point in your class. I said, well, you were not in a class. See, I heard it online. Then I realized, okay, you heard online. I said to him on that day, the Dhritarashtra also heard online. Whole Bhagavad Gita from Sanjay. He was not on site, he was online. But there was no transformation at all. Huh? Right? And most of the devotees now, after 2 years of online, have realized that though there are many new people, we have reached to the many new people by online because they have free time, they came. But there's no personal association. There's no personal association, therefore there is no transformation. The new people, there's not much transformation because there's no personal communication. So anyway, personal association has much more advantage, really speaking. Online, I was the other day myself joking that I had to give class, say 6 o'clock Indian time, online Bhakti Shastra teaching. So in Damodar Desh, I came back at 1 o'clock from program. I told them at least 6 o'clock, it's too early, 4:30 here. I will just give you here 6 o'clock time from. But anyway, I was too tired. I got up at, I think, maybe 10 to 6 or something that time. Put water, I started giving class. Online, but they know where I am, what I am doing. Online, you can, whatever you want to do, you do. But in temple, you cannot go like that. So online is so easy. So only example online is Dhritarashtra. So There's a chapter summary I'm reading now, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's, the liberation of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. The theme is there, Mahaprabhu started his preaching to the topmost Vedantist. So his main preaching mood was to give Krishna Prem to the dry philosophical speculators. And he selected Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya first to preach. So I'm reading the chapter summary and then we'll read the first verse of the chapter, which is in Sanskrit. Chapter 6, Madhya Leela, liberation of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. A summary of the 6th chapter is given by Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur in his Amrita Pravaha Bhashya. Amrita Pravaha Bhashya. What is the meaning of this? Amrit means nectar. Pravaha means flow. And Bhashya means commentary. That's called Tika and that's called Bhasha. There are two words, Tika and Bhasha. Tika is like somebody gives his own commentary. Bhasha means he has read so many and then he's giving something on that. So, Amrita Pravaha Bhasha is a commentary, is a summary of the Chaitanya Charitamrita given by Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. At the time of Bhakti Vinod Thakur, he was looking for one copy of Chaitanya Charitamrita and it was not available. Bhakti Vinod Thakur was searching for one copy of Chaitanya Charitamrita, it was not available. And this Chaitanya Charitamrita which we have, what is most astonishing thing about this? कभी आपने सोचा है Chaitanya Charitamrita by Srila Prabhupada, what is special about this?
Is it because he wrote before translated Srimad Bhagavatam?
Well, there is also one good thing. The most astonishing thing is he translated from Bengali to English. Then he told Bhakticharya Swami Maharaj that again translate this in Bengali. So it means there is something different than exactly what is. His commentary is having something very special. So from Bengali to English and from English to Bengali again. So Bhakticharya Maharaj wanted to translate back into the Bengali. This was the main project of Bhakticharya Swami Maharaj in Mayapur, that he was translating whole Chaitanya Charitamrita back into Bengali. So it means Srila Prabhupada has given a lot more philosophy, and he said this is the topmost philosophy of Krishna consciousness. Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is called ISKCON BBC. What is this? ISKCON BBC. BBC is so famous all over the world, BBC News. So our spiritual ISKCON News is BBC also. ISKCON BBC is Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita. That is our BBC. So Bhagavad Gita is what Krishna says. Bhagavatam is what Krishna does. But Chaitanya Charitamrita is what Krishna thinks. So each one is higher than other. What somebody says you can hear, maybe in the street also. But what Krishna does, you can only know when you go in the home. When you have personal association, then you can know what Krishna is doing. But what Krishna is thinking in the home, even you may not understand what he is thinking. So what Krishna thinks is the highest Chaitanya Charitamrita. So Chaitanya Charitamrita, but it was not available to Bhakti Vinod Thakur. He was looking for a copy. And when Srila Prabhupada was on board in Jalduta, he had Chaitanya Charitamrita all 1 month to relish. So Mahaprabhu, Srila Prabhupada on board was having Chaitanya Charitamrita on his lap. Bhagavatam in a trunk and Chaitanya Charitamrita on his lap. So a copy of Chaitanya Charitamrita was with Srila Prabhupada when he was on board. And he was reading and relishing that. And teaching of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srila Prabhupada written in 68. The preface is written on 1968. Even before, I think, was a Krishna book, and so I think they are almost together. So early he has given the teaching of Lord Chaitanya. So, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu entered temple of Jagannath, so this chapter starts like that. It means he is coming after taking sannyas from Shantipur through Remuna to Jagannath temple after Atharanala. He immediately fainted. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya then took him to his home. Meanwhile, Gopinath Acharya, the brother-in-law of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, met Mukunda Datta, the brother-in-law of and talked to him about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's acceptance of sannyas and his journey to Jagannath Puri. After hearing about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's fainting and his being carried to the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, people crowded there to see the Lord. Sri Nityanand Prabhu and other devotees then visited Jagannath temple, and then they came back to the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu returned to external consciousness. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya received everyone and distributed Mahaprasad with a great care. The Bhattacharya then became acquainted with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and arranged accommodation at his aunt's house. His brother-in-law Gopinath Acharya established Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Krishna himself, but Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and his many disciples could not accept this. So we are reading this much because tomorrow we will continue after this onward, because in the verses we can not reach to that place today. So I am reading the first verse, which is in Sanskrit. In all chapters, first verse is in Sanskrit, and then the rest of the verses are in Bengali. Naumi tam Gaura Chandram Yaha Kuttarka Karakashasyam Sarvabhaumam Sarvabhauma Bhakti Bhumanam Achara Nomim Tam Gaurachandram Yaha Kuttarka Karaka Sasayam Kuttarka Karakasha Asayam Sarvabhaumam Sarvabhauma Bhakti Bhaunam Bhakti Bhumanam Achara. So the meaning of the verse is that I offer my respectful obeisances. Naumi means I offer my respectful obeisances unto Gaura Chandra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who converted the hard-hearted Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Karaka Asyam. Karaka means hard-hearted. Asyam, the ones whose hard. This is, you have done Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, right? Bhakti Shastri. Who is eligible for Bhakti? There's a one chapter, full chapter, the eligibility for Bhakti. Adhikari Bhakti. Who is Adhikari for Uttam Bhakti? There's one verse from Bhagavatam which says, one who is not too much in Gyan or too much in a karma. The verse says like that. Because the one who is too much in Gyan, the one who is too much renounced. The one who is too much renounced is fit for Gyan. Because his heart is hard. And one who is too much into enjoyment is fit for karma. त्यागी ज्ञानी बनने के अधिकारी है, भोगी कर्मी बनने का अधिकारी है. भक्ति में न योगी, न ज्यादा त्यागी चाहिए न ज्यादा भोगी चाहिए, इन बिटवीन चाहिए. बहुत त्यागी होगा तो हार्ट हार्ड हो जाएगी. Because for devotion we need a soft heart which should be mellowed with emotion. और भोगी होगा तो कर्मी बनेगा. So for adhikari, for devotee is one who is neither too much renounced, not too much enjoy. Is in between. Exactly भागवत की वर्स है, अभी मेरे को याद नहीं है, लेकिन that is very nice verse. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was hard-hearted because he was jnani. And Kutark, what is the meaning of Kutark? Tark means logic. Kutark means wrong logic. Kutarki. There is a Tark, there is a Kutark, and then there is a logical, illogical, and then translogical. So actually the science of God is translogical. You cannot prove it by logic. It's not logical, it is not illogical, it is translogical. So where logic stops, the science of God is start. So he converted the hard-hearted Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, the reservoir of all bad logic, Kutarki, into a great devotee. The one is Sarvabhauma is a name, otherwise Sarvabhauma is a Krishna, as a Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sarvabhauma means sovereignty. Prabhupada writes Sarvabhauma, the Lord of everything. Sarvabhauma. Bhakti Bhumanam, unto the great personality of devotion. Into a great personality of devotion. Bhakti Bhumanam. Acharat, converted. And then there is a verse very famous. Next verse always is Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhaktabanda. And then the next verse says Avesha Chalila Prabhu Jagannatha Mandare Jagannatha Dekhi Prema Haila Aisthare. So, in ecstasy, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went from Athara Nala to the temple of Jagannath. After seeing Lord Jagannath, he became very restless due to love of Godhead. It means he entered Singhdwara, he entered the main temple, he saw Jagannath. But he fainted at that time. Jagannath Alingana Chalila Dhaya. Dhaya means he was running to embrace Jagannath. The mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on entrance to the temple was to embrace Jagannath. Mandire Padila Prema Avishita Hanya. As he entered the temple, Mandare Padila. Mandare Padila. Padila fell down. Mandare Padila. Prema Avishta Haya. He became completely ecstatic out of his outer consciousness. Daive Sarvabhauma Tahe ke Kare Darshan. Daive means by chance. At that time, exactly, when Mahaprabhu fainted on seeing Jagannath, at that time, by providence, Sarvabhauma was there and taking darshan. You all have seen the Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's house, which is now Ganga Goswami's mutt, something like that. He went inside. The inside is a temple, and after opposite the temple there is some platform, and on the platform actually Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sat there and was discussing this philosophy. And the other side there is a cave which goes from Sarvabhauma's house to Jagannath temple. Because he used to go to the temple by a secret route. So they say there is a cave from the right side room, there is a cave going down. And the left side room, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was put for some time there. This place, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya house, it is written here on the back of the Jagannath temple, southern side of Jagannath temple. So, once the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu fell down, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya happened to see him. When the watchman threatened to beat the Lord, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya immediately forbade him. So it means when the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu fell down, the watchmen there, they thought something, strange or something, so they wanted to take him out or, chase him, something like that. They were offensive. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya stopped that. This is the Sukriti. Bhattacharya's, this is Sukriti. This is called Agyat Sukriti. Without knowing, he has done great service to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He stopped the watchman from harassing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he was unconscious. This is actually the first mercy Mahaprabhu. He got the mercy of Mahaprabhu. This is called, sometimes we don't know what we are doing, but we do some devotional service to the devotee or to the Lord without knowing, and that when accumulate for many, many lifetimes, then actually somebody begin the bhakti. This is another one line of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. To start Uttama Bhakti, one must have many lifetimes pious credit of devotion. Not one life. Sri Rupa Goswami write, many lives pious credits. And then what is the proof that he has many lifetimes pious credit? What is the evidence? कि इसके बहुत जन्मों का पुण्य है, भक्ति का पुण्य है, not the दान का पुण्य, not पूजा का पुण्य, भक्ति का पुण्य, भक्ति जनित सुकृति. What is the proof of that? Proof is that he will get association of devotee. जिसको भक्त का संग मिला, समझ लो इसका पुण्य उदय हुआ. बहुत जन्मों का पुण्य उदय हुआ, इसलिए भक्त का संग मिला. Now if he take instruction from a devotee, his devotion starts. So who is eligible for devotee? Having many lifetimes pious credit that bring him to the association of devotee, and if he accepts the instruction of devotee, his devotion service starts. And now you see all in your life, it is always the association of devotee that has brought you to Krishna consciousness. Through Srila Prabhupada's books, whatever way, is only the devotee's mercy. So bhakti is started by mercy of devotee. But mercy of devotee is usually on the people who have pious credit. Not everybody cannot get mercy. You may give mercy, but they are not eligible for that. So these two things together, bhakti starts. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is now getting prepared to get mercy, because he did the first right thing. He served Chaitanya Mahaprabhu without knowing him. It's called Agyat. The next says, Prabhura Saundaryara Prema Vikara. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so beautiful. Saundarya. He was beautiful, really. 24-year young sannyasi, golden color, tall, over 6 feet. So he was Saundarya, and prema vikar, and also his whole body was transformed because of the love of God. Dekhi sarvabhauma haila vismita apar. He was vismit apar means he was surprised to the extreme. Prabhupada writes, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was very surprised, vismit apar, to see the personal beauty of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Saundarya, as well as the transcendental transformation wrought on his body due to love of Godhead. Bahu kshane Chaitanya nahi, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was unconscious for a long time. Bahu kshane, kshana means moment, bahu means many, and Chaitanya nahi, it means he was not conscious. Bhogera kala haya, and it was the time to offer the bhoga to Jagannath. And generally when the bhoga comes to Jagannath, everybody was driven out. Chalo, chalo, chalo. Because nobody should be on the way. And usually pujari also, they cover their mouth and nose when they carry bhoga. I mean, the whole idea is that we should not really, what is called, smell. The whole idea is, before Lord honor it, we should not have bhog mentality. So, bhogar time haila. Sarvabhauma mane tabi upaye chintila. He thought, now what should I do? Everybody he cannot go on his own. We say, but he's unconscious, what should I do? So Sarvabhauma was thinking like that. Sishyaha paricha dwara prabhu nilavaya. Then he called his disciple and called the watchman, and he asked them to carry Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Ghare ani, he brought him to his own house. Sthane rakila, soyaya ho. Pavitra sthane. He kept him in a very sanctified place. Swaya means he left him to take rest. Swaya. सोने के लिए पवित्र जगह दिया. And पवित्र जगह दिया. This is also, the word is पवित्र स्थाने. While Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was unconscious, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, with the help of watchmen and some disciples, carried him to his home and laid him down in a very sanctified room. Very sanctified. What is a very sanctified room means? I mean, clean is one thing. I think maybe the place where he used to puja, he was to do some. I think there's one room on this side. They say this is the place where they brought. The one is there are two ways from that veranda. There's the platform, veranda, and one side is the cave going to the Jagannath temple. Other side is sanctified room, where he kept the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And on the top they used to sit together and talk Vedanta philosophy. I remember that house one last time we visited, I think, 3 years back. Many times I went, I never went so deep in this. Last visit I went and stayed down at that place. Swasa purpa swasa nahi udara spandana. And then Bhattacharya was actually, Bhattacharya was not only ordering somebody to carry, he was watching himself, and then he made him to lie down, then he was watching. Abdomen is not moving with breathing. Udara, this word is udara, spandana. Spandana means coming up and down. Udara means abdomen. You know udara? There's a one Sanskrit word called sahodar. Sahodar means brother. Saha means same, udar means abdomen. One who is born from the one abdomen is called sahodar. Sahodar is a Sanskrit word for brother, sahodar. And sohirda. And sohirda, the one who is in the same heart. Sohirda. Soudra, sohirda. Sohirda is Krishna, because it's so in our heart. Sohirda sarva bhutanam. Sohirda, soudra. So, Oh, देखिया चिंतित है या भट्टाचार्य मन. He said, no, he's not breathing. He's not breathing. So, he said, who is he? कौन है? कहाँ से आया? बेहोश हो गया. सांस नहीं ले रहा. So he was very much anxious. Then what he did? Sukshame tulani nasagar le dharya. Then he brought a piece of cotton and put near to the nostril. Tuli means piece of cotton. Suksham means very fine. Sukshama tulyani nasa agarite dharya. Ishtha ishita chalya tula dekhi dharya haila. Oh, there's a little movement of the cotton. Oh, he was at least pacified. Oh no, he's breathing. And then what happened? Bashi Bhatticharya mane karena vichara. Ei Krishna Mahaprabhu mera satvika vikara. Sitting beside Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It's not that he asked somebody to leave here and see. He was sitting next to him. He thought, this is accepted transformation brought about by love of Krishna. So he actually diagnosed that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in a Krishna Prem Avisht. Krishna Prem Avisht. Now there is one technical word. Kya time ho gaya kya? Huh? So one technical word we'll discuss tomorrow. I'm just reading. Sudipat, Sudipit, Sudipat. There are 4 stages of love of God. There are 4 stages of love of God. And these stages, one is called Dhumayat. Dhumayat means smoky. The other one is called Jwalita. Then the next one is called Udipata. And the last is called Sudipata. So these are the technical stages. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya understood that Mahaprabhu is in the last stage of the love of God, Sudipata. So this we will discuss tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Any question or comment? Any question or comment? You like this? Yeah, chal, huh?
Thank you so much for enlightening us.
Sorry?
Thank you so much for enlightening us with Chaitamrita. Prabhu, you mentioned one thing that when we get a lot of bhakti punya, you get association. So can we deduce that Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya also was done bhakti previously? Because of that he got the association of
Basically, he's a associate. He's a Brihaspati. He's already Brihaspati, and Brihaspati is like Shishya of Brihaspati is Uddhav, but still Krishna has to send him to the gopis. So the disciple was sent by Krishna to the gopis to learn, and Guru is actually trained by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu into love of God. So, but this is a pastime actually. That definitely he is doing something which is his pious activity, which is making him eligible to get Krishna Prem. Otherwise, he was a great scholar. He should have throw him out. It could be done like that. There are many madmen coming in the temple. We said, chalo. But he did not do that. He was sitting personally and taking care. And ultimately, he will tell, you are sannyasi, so I would like to serve you. And then Mahaprabhu will reply in a wonderful way. So are you relishing this Chaitanya Charitamrita? We should at least finish this chapter full. ठीक है? ये chapter पूरा पढ़ लेंगे, ठीक है? फिर आगे, if we have time and we want to continue, then the most really exalted, there are 3 teachings which are most exalted. Teaching Rupa Goswami was only 1 chapter. But teaching to Sanatana Goswami is 3 chapters. Which is more, you can say, philosophical, sambandh, abhidhe, prayojan, each chapter for one chapter for each subject. And then the highest is the Ramanand Samvad. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramanand Samvad. But anyway, this time we can just let us finish the Sarvabhauma and then see. We are also hard-hearted like Sarvabhauma. Let it start from here. Hare Krishna. Anybody has any other question or comment? Yes, ma'am.
In continuation with Vamshi Prabhu's question, then how is the mercy flown to Jagai and Madhai if it was not from the...
Oh, Jagai and Madhai. Who were they in their previous lives? Jay and Vijay. They are Jay and Vijay. They are coming for pastime in one sense. So, but Jay and Vijay in a fourth birth came as a Jagai and Madhai. So, only the pious credit is of Madhai. That he told Jagai not to hit Chaitanya Nityanand Prabhu. That was so he was eligible for mercy. So Mahaprabhu only gave mercy to him because he protected Nityanand Prabhu. But then Nityanand Prabhu said, now you have to give mercy to others also. The other one also, because in this incarnation you are here to deliver, not to kill. But anyway, he has also done the Sukriti to the Nityanand Prabhu. Anyway, this Agyat Sukriti is most important. I mean, we don't know, sometimes we go to preaching, some people even give a glass of water to a very tired devotee, there is also Agyat Sukriti. Yeah, in a heart he is distributing books, somebody give him a glass of water, that's also Agyat Sukriti. Okay? Gaur Hari ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Jai Gaur Premanande.